Hey guys, so I think it was last week I did a video on the new chocolate mini palettes that Makeup Revolution had brought out, and I kind of feel like they were following in the footsteps of Too Faced. Well, these are kind of based on the Too Faced chocolate bar palettes, but they've gone like above and beyond in regards to the whole chocolate bar range that they have. But when I say I feel like they followed Too Faced have like the mini chocolate chip palettes. Like they've got a white one, they've got a brown one, and I kind of feel like that's what they were trying to do with these. And also like Urban Decay, they have the Naked Heat and then the Naked Heat mini one, and that's kind of like what they're trying to mimic. But these are the mini ones of the chocolate mint, the chocolate orange, the rose gold, and the nudes. Now this one came out the exact same time that the big one came out, and I was a little bit confused, like why are you going to bring out this one the exact same time that the big one of this one came out? Like it was just a little bit baffling for me, but whatever floats their boat. I mean, it's their business, do whatever you want. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is comparing the small versions to the big version. So we're going to do them one by one. We're going to see whether or not they are comparable, like shade by shade, see if they swatch the same, see if the colors are the same, or if they are just continuations of that particular palette. So we're going to start off with the mint one. So here are the mint palettes. You got the Big Daddy and you got the Little Baby. And as you can see, there is a little bit of difference between the two of them. This one, it is brown with mint chocolate drippy, and this one is brown with mint chocolate to white drippy. So please excuse the fact that you might be able to see a little bit of the ring light camera, a bit of reflection. So here are the palettes themselves. I feel like the only shades which are the same are of course this shade here and this shade here, but even still this one's a little bit darker than that one. Also this one here and that one there is similar but not 100% on the nose, and same for this one here and that one there. Like this is a paler version of this, and even with the dark brown shades, they're not 100% the exact same. So to me, this is kind of like a continuation. They kept suit with the dark green, so at least you had something which reminds you of the bigger palette, but it's not necessarily exactly on the nose. So let's try and swatch those two shades to see how they perform. So this one here, oh, you can see here already they are not the exact same. This one is from the big palette and this one is from the small palette. You can see that this one almost looks a little bit more aquamarine and this one looks like a truer green. And for example, this shimmer shade here and this shimmer shade here, you can see this one from the big palette, this one from the small palette, and they are quite different. This one almost looks like a silver on camera, but it's more like a pale gold in reality, and this one's like just a true gold. And another shimmer is this one, that one. Those are very similar to one another in the pans, but not 100% in reality. Okay, so now we have the rose gold palettes. So you can see that this one here is a matte rose gold drippy thing with a nude colored packaging, and this one has like a shiny rose gold dripping with a dark brown packaging. Okay, so to be 100% honest with you, I do not see much of a similarity because there's so many shimmers with this one, and this one seems to be a little bit more colorful with the green and the greeny gold. This seems to be a little bit more on the natural side, but there are a couple of similarities such as this one and this one here, but not 100%. This and this, there isn't a matte yellow in this palette at all, and this one here and this one here. So we'll just swatch a couple of them. Those are very close. Ugh, these swatched so patchy, it's unbelievable. But those are very close to one another. And I'm also going to try this shade here and this shade here, and those are quite different from one another, but they swatch kind of similar. Yeah, they swatch kind of similar, but I have to say these two are not sister palettes or mummy and daddy palette or mummy and baby palettes. These just do not seem to be like one another, to be honest. Like, in my opinion, I don't really see much of a resemblance between these two palettes. I feel like they are very, very different, but at the same time I do still get the theme of rose gold. I mean, this one here and this one here, but it also, like, this is the mini one and this is the big one, but there is also another shade in the big one which is similar to it. Oh, hold on, that's more like it. Those two look the exact same. Let's see. Okay, like those two look pretty much on the nose, but that's not enough for it to be like dead on or for there to be such a resemblance. There just isn't, in my opinion. Okay, so these are the chocolate orange palettes. These ones seem to resemble each other a little bit more, but at the same time I feel like this is an extension of the chocolate orange palette. So what shades look the same? This one and this one a little bit, this one and this one and possibly that one. Okay, so let's swatch the ones that we know are basically quite similar. Oh no. So this one here is the mini, this one here is the big mama. And then let's try this deep shade, this deep shade. Nah. But this one from the mini is a lot more, this one from the mini is a lot more pigmented than this one. Like, this one's a little bit more patchy. Yeah, but I've got to say that this mini seems to be like the extension of the big one. Like, if they wanted to add a little, wanted to add a few more shades, what were those shades going to be? And this is what they came up with. But both of them are really, really nice. I can't even deny that they are both really nice. And if, like, this is like Morphe 350, the Makeup Revolution version, I guess. Okay, and this is the nudes palette, or nudes palettes. Now, as I said, both of these came out at the exact same time. When they released this, as well as the other four, as well as the other three minis as well. I've also just now noticed that this is the first palette that they have released in the chocolate bar range that doesn't have the double-ended sponge tip sponge. I always used to keep those, so all of them are in my palettes, but I never used to use them, even though they do work. Like, I have seen other people use them and they do work, but I prefer to use brushes. But getting into what we're here for, so what shades do I think are similar? So I feel like this shade and this shade and this shade here is similar to one another. A little bit off, little bit. What else? Also this shade and this shade. One of them is a little bit more on the icy side. This shade here and this shade here. Again, a little bit, like, the tones are, like, what I'm finding with a lot of these swatches is that one shade will be a cooler version of another shade. That's what I'm finding, and that's all well and good. I mean, sometimes I guess we do need to have cooler versions or warmer versions of a shade, because even though I prefer to have warm shades, there's somebody else who would like to have a palette but they prefer cool tones. So you might find that one palette is a little bit more cool toned than the other palette. And as I said, I feel like these palettes are mainly extensions of the current palettes that they have. Like, if they just wanted to extend it a little bit, if they wanted to throw in a few more shades, what would those shades be? And that's what these minis are. I kind of don't feel like if you already have the big ones that you need to get the small ones as well. I just don't feel like it's necessary to do all of that. So my overall thoughts, as I said, I don't feel like you need to have all of these palettes and all of these shades if you already have the big ones. And with Makeup Revolution chocolate bar palettes anyway. I feel like some of these shades are hit and miss. Some of them are great, some of them aren't as good. It just kind of is what it is. You kind of have to take it, like, it's just something that comes with it, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the bigger palettes are $7.99, $8.99, so they are so affordable, so affordable. So just keep that in mind. And I have seen some of you lots of comments where you said, well, I've already got the big one, so is there really a point in me getting the smaller one? I mean, they're good sizes for travel. I don't particularly feel like these are going to be palettes that I draw for every single day. And if you were expecting for these to be the smaller versions of the big palettes, unfortunately, in my opinion, they are not. They're more of an extension of pre-existing palettes, but they're not like for like in that respect. Like a couple of the swatches, as you saw, were a shade, were like a hair off, or were the cool version of the warm version, and vice versa. Also, just to advise, the minis are £6 each. I reckon that they should have been a little bit more cheaper, like £4 or £5, seeing as the big ones, where you get a lot more shadows, are $8.99. So, but that's just my opinion, but I can't really tell nobody what to charge for their stuff. But that's just something to keep in mind, okay? Anyway, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.